Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Friedman, and I'm the Associate Vice President for Marketing at Niagara University. We're approaching May 1st, which in typical years is known as National College Decision Day. But as we all know, 2020 has been far from typical. While a comprehensive college search is undoubtedly at or near the top of your to-do list, your number one priority is the health and safety of your family, just as it is ours. Our admissions office has been tracking any questions or concerns you've raised about the fall 2020 semester and summer orientation. We have a number of resources available on our website, and our admissions counselors are always just a phone call or email away. But today, we are going to answer your questions directly from our esteemed president, Father Jim Maher. Welcome, Father.
Thank you, Mike. Delighted to be here and with you and our parents. And I thank you for your interest in Niagara University.
Understandably anxious about what the coming weeks are going to look like, both generally and, of course, in terms of their higher education. Before we get into specific questions, can you give our incoming families an overview of what Niagara University is working on now for the fall semester and the activities that lead up to it?
I'd be delighted to, Mike. First of all, what our parents and students, prospective students, should know is that it is our full intent to be operational this fall with brick and mortar and face-to-face engagement and learning on the campus. I'm serving on a statewide task force for the independent and private sector of colleges and universities that's really focused on two areas. One is the best of science and data, and it's led by a number of epidemiologists, scientists, as well as academic leaders and faculty members. And that's really the core bedrock that we would base our decisions on how to operationalize based on the best of science and safety for our campus community, our faculty, our students, and our administrators, and all who work on the campus. And so I'm representing Niagara University in our region in that as we go forward. The second part of the task of the group is really to take all that really good science, evidence-based science data and apply that to the best practices across the campus. So all of our buildings, our dining halls, our hockey arena, our student center, our classrooms, our fitness center, as well as the way that we structure the life of the campus as we go forward. I know there's a number of concerns about that, and I know that just even the challenge of remote learning in high schools and universities and colleges has been, people are worn down and tired. And so there's a yearning to make sure that the environment is a face-to-face, personal engaged environment. And I want to assure you that it's our plan and our full intent to be open and ready with appropriate modifications based on the science as we go forward.
Thanks so much, Father. I'm sure that's great news for everyone watching today. Just to note as well, we have some built-in advantages at Niagara University just by the fact that we have, very small class sizes traditionally, and we're based in a suburban or rural area where there's plenty of space. So on that note, can you maybe outline some of the safety measures that are going to be put into place for classes and residence halls to abide by the experts' social distance recommendations?
Yeah, excellent point, Mike. I would also just add in the backdrop of our county, has now moved, Niagara County has now moved towards the approval of elective surgeries and procedures. And that's sort of an indication of the way that the lack of density and sparsity of the area, and particularly of our 170-acre campus, potentially just at this particular time works in the favor of reopening. And every campus is going to have to deal with that. Particularly as regions open, New York State region by region. And so it's our intention to be fully, moving into phase 3 this summer and really working with the state, our CDC guidelines. So, it's interesting. We will offer and operate with the best of the guidelines from the White House's document on reopening America, the Center for Disease Control, our task force, which will have its work done by between May 15th and May 20th, and then that is a set of potential guidelines then or practices that we could recommend in New York State for across the state for what colleges and universities have to do to be open and fully open, and then to operationalize that and customize that to the campus of Niagara University. So there'll be no shortage of really good science, best practices, and some of those that you may see, would be masks on the campus for everyone who's employed and students, an abundance of hand sanitizers, appropriate social distancing in terms of social spaces, no gatherings of more than 50 in a particular place with the proper social distancing and all the other CDC guidelines in place as we go forward. Attentive to potential temperature taking and obviously using the available resources that will be underway on testing and surveillance that will not just be Niagara, but really using the best of the healthcare professionals and the science as we go forward. So those are just some indications of what does a campus look like until we have the vaccine ready, which could be anywhere from 12 to 18 months.
Excellent, Father. That's great news. And speaking of having the campus ready, you touched a little bit upon this earlier, but the university is obviously really known for having a host of incredible facilities, from Dwyer Ice Arena to the Castellani Art Museum, the Kiernan Recreation Center, and our brand new esports lounge. So just to quell any anxieties that students or parents may have, can you reiterate our plans for each of these areas to be fully operational for the fall?
Yeah, be delighted to, Mike. Obviously, we will follow all the best practices recommended by the Center for Disease Control, the White House guidelines, New York State, and the task force that I currently serve on. And so for Dwyer, we will have that building open, and obviously a significant portion of that will be the junior Purple Eagles, our hockey team, our club hockey team, our women's lacrosse team, and following all guidelines for athletic facilities as we go forward. The NCAA will likely submit a list, will submit a list of best practices that could be recommended, which will be consistent with all those documents and with all those entities as we go forward. Same for the fitness center, and the opening that up for student recreation and being able to follow all the CDC guidelines. Our residence halls as well will take direction on that from the CDC, the White House Task Force, the best of science, and our statewide task force to reopen in the state of New York as we go forward. And we'll make appropriate modifications where we need to in terms of limiting capacity and also securing additional resources that we need to for students who want the on-campus experience in terms of a living arrangement. So those plans are underway. And we'll be rolling those out and sharing those with our families and our students as we go forward.
This is really great, Father. I think everyone is relieved to hear that we're pretty much all systems go for the fall semester to be on campus. But let's get into a few of the worst case scenario questions that we've received during the last week or so from students and parents. As you said, by all accounts, New York State is planning to reopen the economy in short order. But if an unanticipated about face occurs and the university isn't permitted to hold in-person classes, will there be a reduction in tuition for distance learning?
We'll make any adjustments that we need to, Mike. You know, I think what I feel really confident about is, when we get to the fall, we'll be ready. Um, we'll make adjustments as we need to, but I think what I'd say very, very honestly is that I feel very, very confident of where we are, the work that's being done, and the time that we have to prepare. That we'll be ready for face-to-face and for campus engagement, as we go forward. And we have no just you asked about the online, and I fully understand that. But just so that the parents of prospective students would know that I made the decision in consultation with the senior team to do a refund for students this past semester and their families, because it's my fundamental belief it's their money, and that was really around uh, our residence halls and our dining experience. And I think it would be unethical to charge students for something and their families that they're not a service they're not receiving. And so, at a sizable loss, a lot of colleges and universities did that, but we decided that we would take some of that loss. Some of it we're able to recoup through the American Cares Act, but not all of it. But it's the right thing to do. And my fundamental belief in terms of management and leadership is when you do the right things for people, and even if it's a short-term loss and a financial loss, you send the right message, you lead with your values, and those things tend to come back to you in positive ways that you least expect. So rest assured that whether it's orientation, the learning experience, the campus experience, we're not going to charge you for things that we're not delivering, because that's our obligation to do that. It's our full intent to be face-to-face, brick and mortar, operational, but we're not going to, and we used to use this expression, in Brooklyn, we're not going to nickel and dime you for this, because that's not who we are, and that's not the experience that we want you to have. That's just, we engage the whole family, we recruit the whole family to Niagara when you come to us, and I think you've seen that throughout the year. And we're going to stay tried and true to that message.
Thanks, Father. It's so nice to be part of the campus community that is basically built around the principle of doing the right thing. Question regarding residence halls. Traditionally, we require all students who live outside of a 50-mile radius of the university to live on campus as a means to help them make friends and become a part of the fabric of the Niagara community. Should any student who falls into this category not be 100% comfortable with living on campus due to the situation that we're involved in right now? Will the university make exceptions be made? And if the student does decide not to live on campus for the fall semester, can they choose to live on campus for their second semester if they were to change their mind?
Yeah, thank you, Mike. And first of all, what I'd say is that nobody should feel uncomfortable in any situation. And so if someone, the only thing I would ask is just make sure you thoroughly, as students and parents, investigate the whole option. And so if you come to us and say, I'm really not comfortable with this, we'll make accommodations. That's going to be the need in a lot of different areas, obviously, flexibility, adaptability, and resilience. So I think the only thing I would ask is that you make sure you fully vet, the campus living experience. And if you come to us at the end of the day and say, you know what, I'm not comfortable with this, I want to be a Niagara student, but right now, we'll make every accommodation that we can. And by all means, we have students that, a number of students who come into housing, who find out that it is actually cheaper to live on campus than live in the community. And they come to the campus and live through, we have the the slogan that was developed really through some of the campaign that's very real, that where you live changes your life. And we have incredibly high retention rates for and engagement rates for our students who live on the campus, and they have an opportunity to dine in Russell's and have a great dining experience in a beautiful new facility, state-of-the-art facility. So we will be adaptive and flexible. And just so that you know, we're going forward this summer with an over $1 million renovation in O'Shea Hall in terms of the bathrooms. You may well be aware that that's where the esports lounge is as well. And that's an incredibly popular site for our students as well. So we will be flexible, adaptable, and supportive of our students and our families' needs and requests.
That's great, Father. Now let's turn our attention to summer orientation in July, one of the most anticipated events on our annual calendar, and it'll be here before you know it. I think that you've probably already mentioned this, but just so that we can confirm with our students and families, can you just kind of clearly state if the university has made a determination on whether or not summer orientation will be held in person?
Thanks, Mike. Yes, we are planning to hold our orientation in person. We have just gotten incredible feedback from our families and our students in the past. Not every institution does this level of orientation, but as I said to you earlier, when we recruit your sons and daughters to the university, we recruit the whole family. And we have to know that you as parents and your family are incredibly comfortable with the choice that you've made and your sons and daughters have made to have them be our students at Niagara University. And orientation really serves as a way of engagement for our students and families to learn what it means to be a Niagara student, the adjustment to university life, and also the network of friends and relationships that they begin to build through the summer orientation program. So we'll keep you posted on progress on that. And if we have to make adjustments, we will. We just think it's a great opportunity for we know it's a great opportunity for our students and their parents to really grow in ever more comfort with the choice that they've made. And also just we will make modifications to the program in terms of how it rolls out with Center for Disease Control modifications on crowd size, programs, gatherings for students and parents. And we want our students and our parents to feel comfortable on the campus. So it's our full intent to roll that out. We will absolutely keep you posted on progress of that as we go forward.
And Father, if for some reason the state does not allow in-person gatherings through July, are there plans for some type of virtual summer orientation?
Mike, there would be plans for both virtual and other opportunities as we get closer to the semester, to organize the tenets of the orientation program. Typically, what we like to do is kind of build the orientation experience, move-in experience, and then the NUB fall seminar for our first-year students. So there's kind of a continuum of engagement as we go forward, and it really begins with the orientation program, registration, picking your classes, getting to know your faculty, and your fellow classmates. So I would just offer that's the continuum of engagement that we see as we go forward. And obviously, once the students get on campus and they get into classes beyond the NUB seminars, they have a high level of engagement with their faculty and their clubs and their experience on the campus.
That's great, Father. Now, you spoke to the university's commitment to making sure that students and families are comfortable with whatever situation they're going to be getting into during the summer and the fall. So on a related note, if there are students who may not be comfortable attending an in-person version of summer orientation, do you know if we will have plans to offer a virtual option for anyone who falls into that category?
We will, we'll have a lot of flexible options, and virtual is one of them. Also, opportunities for students, once they come to the campus, whenever that is, um, and really build that continuum of engagement. That the orientation is key because it's the beginning of really making that transition into the life of a university student. And so, we will make, we're going to have multiple opportunities to be flexible and adaptive, as we go forward. So the answer is yes, but it won't just simply be moving it all online. There'll be other ways in which we can engage students and families, as well as, the online option.
Great, Father, thank you. As I mentioned a short time ago, most students and families know that May 1st has traditionally been known as National College Decision Day, and the day that students are supposed to have their deposits in for the institutions. But I wanted to talk to you about whether or not the university is making any changes or any accommodations to what has traditionally been known as the May 1st deposit day.
Yeah, we're actually, Mike, seeing good numbers, actually, as you know better than me, in terms of the level of engagement and deposits. And so we anticipate that will continue beyond May 1st. We have rolling admissions, I think if students and parents feel that they're really comfortable, yeah, just to advise you to follow that instinct and make that commitment. And if you need more time and you want to, follow up with more questions from, myself, the admissions team, Mr. Murphy, yourself, by all means, take advantage of that. The order of the day right now, Mike, is flexibility. Because of the challenges that we all face. I think every aspect of life is calling out for that. I was just on a 2-day call with the NCAA Board of Governors, which oversees Division 1, 2, and 3, and then the Division 1 board yesterday. And obviously, you would have seen the name, image, and likeness developments that have emerged. But great discussion around student athletes and the need for adaptability and flexibility and rules and policies and things within reason, but just being able to recognize this is an extraordinary event that has come into our world. And so we all have to be adaptable and flexible, and we will be. And I just encourage you, if you know in your heart, this is the right place for me, then follow your heart. But we will certainly be, adaptable and flexible and welcome students and families to deposit on May 1st and after May 1st.
Great, Father. I think that, once again, that will come as a welcome relief to some of our families. And again, I hate to keep sounding like the devil's advocate, but students and parents want to know the answers to some of these questions.
Sure.
So will the university refund deposits if classes for any reason are moved online, and as a result, a student decides that, they may want to defer or, look into some other options?
Yeah, Mike, it's really, don't apologize for asking those questions. They're the right questions for yourself and for students and families. We're not afraid of refunding money. We did that to a loss, this spring, because it's the right thing to do. And I just want families to know that. I feel very confident in where we are and what's happening in our region and our county. That we'll be in really good shape as the summer progresses. If by some way, shape, or form that's not the case, we'll be the first to communicate that. to our students and our parents as we go forward. And so we have I have no qualms. I know our families make incredible sacrifice to send their sons and daughters to Niagara. We are so proud of the people that we serve and the impact that our education has on our students, but also the impact our students have on the greater society. And so we will do the right thing, and I have no qualms about making sure that the money that you pay to us in any service on the campus, that's your money. That's not my money. That's your money. And that if you're not getting that service, you deserve that money back.
And lastly, Father, how is class registration being handled for incoming students, and will they have access to that same advisement with faculty and staff that has really become a hallmark of the Niagara University experience?
Yeah, great question again, Mike. It's progressing right now through the remote and online, as some of it does already. We use orientation to be able to really, firm and cement that process as we go forward. I also will tell you, we have a person who gave us a sizable gift, financial gift, going into the fall to be able to strengthen our advisement process. And so it's a gift that really enables us to free up faculty who are, many of our faculty are so good at this, and take faculty from the various colleges who are exceptional, and appropriately provide resources to them, and as well as our academic administrators, to be able to advise our students. And that's something we're incredibly proud to do, with and for our students and their families. We pride ourselves, we refer to our faculty as mentors of the mind and heart. And one of the things that the students have consistently said to me about what they love about Niagara is, and it's a striking statement, the faculty know our names. And we want to build on those relationships as we go forward. So in any way, shape, or form, if someone's having any difficulty in registering, or they should contact their admissions counselor right away and get that information up to you and to Mr. Murphy, our executive VP of enrollment and dean of admissions, and we'll address it right away. But that's really consistent with the approach that we want to take as we go forward.
Father, thanks so much for your time today. I can almost feel the collective size of our incoming students and parents who have to be happy to know, as you and I are, that plans call for us to be back on Monteagle Ridge soon. I want to remind everyone watching that we have 11 virtual events coming up for you beginning Monday, May 4th. These will give you an opportunity to connect with representatives from various academic areas, to student life, to financial aid and student accounts, and you can find the full schedule of these events at next.niagara.edu. I also want to let you know that we've set up an online form for you to submit any additional questions you have for us about the upcoming academic year. Please visit niagara.edu/asknu to submit your questions. We'll answer anything specific or personal via email or phone, while we'll host future sessions like this one to respond to the more general inquiries that may be on the minds of many students. Well, that's it for today. Thank you again to Father Maher for answering such important questions, and thanks to all of you for watching. On behalf of all of us, welcome once again to the Niagara University family. We'll see you soon.